I feel like distractions is something that we all seriously need to consider and take and acknowledge. We all have different distractions. Some of us has the same distractions, but they all affect us the same. Where do you envision yourself of being in your life right now? Who do you see yourself as being? Be honest with yourself. What are your desires? What are your wants? What are your needs? Virtually, we all have the same needs. If you really dig deep, you will know that your needs is not that it's not that many needs that we all have. There are very few needs that we all need to contribute to, but those few needs are almost always neglected by us, which is why so many people, they go on with their lives and they're so underdeveloped, and why a lot of us is not emotionally intelligent, why a lot of us is not decisive, why a lot of us is not focused, why a lot of us are not where we need to be physically, spiritually, and mentally, and emotionally in life, no matter what our age is. Some of us are 50 plus years old, 30 plus years old, and we still have a childish mentality. We still act like children. And a lot of that is because we neglect our needs. Now, going back to distractions, do distractions in your life distract you from tending to your needs? And do we tend to other external things, external forces, for coping mechanisms, which is the result of us neglecting our needs? I believe, yes, we all do that. Do we do that? I believe will say that maybe I believe when I was younger, I was guilty of that. It's sometimes, even to this day, sometimes I can be guilty of that. I can be going through something and I can just be more vulnerable to distractions. I can just look at my phone. I can do things that does not serve my future and does not serve my present self in any form or fashion, simply because it feels better to be distracted. It feels better to tend to things that distracts us. It is an instant self gratifying emotion, task, getting that quick dopamine shot within us. I think it's equivalent to a crack fiend taking a hit, or drinking alcohol, or having irresponsible, meaningless sex, just going around sleeping with people, and just doing things that are just self-destructive, counterintuitive, counterproductive. But we know these things, but we don't care because they feel good. And things, for the most part, things that feels good are distractions, and they are used as distractions. And we can't, and even though we may not create these distractions, we have nobody to blame but ourselves, because we are not taking the responsibility of our lives to remove these distractions and to not be vulnerable to these distractions. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable. So if we lack accountability, we are more vulnerable to self-destructive behavior. We are more vulnerable to being distracted. And the evil thing about distractions is that it keeps us from actually knowing you. It keeps us from understanding ourselves eternally. We cannot deeply dig deep and understand and acknowledge and just know who our actual selves are simply because distractions is getting in the way. We are not focused because we are distracted. So it's not so much that you have not achieved a goal, or you're not successful, or you're not fulfilled, or I shouldn't say you have not achieved a goal, you are not successful, and you are not fulfilled, and you are not experiencing autonomy in your life. Is simply because we are distracted. I believe that distractions is the biggest fault of them all, next to self-pity. But I believe that we are being distracted because of self-pity. And so a lot of these things has a connection. It's like you're this because of this, and you're this because of that, and you're this because you do this, and you're this because you neglect this, or you do this. It's like a lot of these things, a lot of things in life. That's why I like to learn so much, and that's why I like to stretch my mind and my spirit and my soul to so many different things in this world to use to my advantage and to put into my skill set, in because it's a connection. I see a connection in a root to all of this, a cord to all of these things that I can use for my leverage, and I can use for systems to build, for me to grow, and for my resources to grow infinitely. This is why I do these things. We do this because even if something is negative, there's so much connections to that negative root, or something that's positive, there's so many connections to the positive root. And it's our job to acknowledge both of them, to acknowledge and understand deeply both of them, the negative and the positive, the evil and the good. It's our responsibility to acknowledge that, or else we would never overcome it. We would never be better. So distractions is something that we all need to acknowledge, and we all need to control. I do believe that it's very possible to eliminate all distractions. It really just matters, do you truly want to? And are you able to hold yourself accountable for you to have the strength, or not even the strength, the resilience. The resilience is the better term, to eliminate these distractions. It may not feel good at first to eliminate these distractions. Of course, it may not feel good because you're so committed to them. You're so attached to them. See, focus isn't the problem. You are focused. You're focused on the wrong things. It's like when somebody says they're busy. Busy is not always good. I mean, I don't think busy is good most of the time. That's why I eliminate that term, I'm busy. Because most of the time when people say everybody is busy, and I came to understand that most of the time when everybody is doing something, I don't want to be doing it. And usually when you take a note of something that everybody is doing, you usually just want to just do the other thing. Because not everybody is going to be doing something that's going to require a lot of patience, time, and energy. Not everybody wants to put that much work in. So that's obvious. So for the most part, we all know that everybody wants to take the shortcut, the easier way to get to from point A to point B. And there are some things in life that are just going to require a lot of time and energy in the right focus. But like I said, focus isn't the issue. We are focused. We are all focused. It just depends. Now, Are we all focused on the meaningful, valuable things, the purposeful things? You know, we may all be focused, but we all are not all productive. We are not all effective. We are not all efficient towards the meaningful things. Now, you can be focused, you can be productive, you can be effective, and you can be efficient towards the negative things, which is why you get the negative results, the negative consequences, you know? So it's more about eliminating the distractions. When you eliminate the distractions out of your life, you will gain more clarity, and then you'll gain more clarity not on so much on reaching external goals and resources, but you will gain clarity on understanding on you. The whole purpose of this all is for you to recognize and acknowledge and understand and meet eternally, discover you, and then keep exploring you. And when we do that, we can be more authentic, and we can be more honest, we can be more loyal to ourselves, and we can love ourselves more than anything when we actually know who we actually are. And then we can do things beyond measures. But we can only do things beyond measures and infinitely accumulate as much resources and property and capital and wealth, prosperity and autonomy as possible when we first start holding ourselves accountable, taking the responsibility, and acknowledging and facing you, ourselves. And then we can do that, and then we can expand, we can stress, because we know that it's so meaningful, and it doesn't even matter if it doesn't feel good at first. We know that it's for a bigger picture, it's for a bigger cause, a much greater cause. So we're willing to go through the pain a little bit, the grit, and we know that it's needed for us to build a resilient self, for us to keep going, because we know that the end result, the bigger picture, is that we are going to feel beyond good. We're going to feel fulfilled. We are going to be not happy. We're going to be joyful. We are going to experience sustainable, great emotions. I guess you could say, lack for better words, but sustainable emotions, like sustainable emotions that's going to make us feel powerful and have more energy to do more greater things. When we become more focused on the productive, meaningful things, we will know that we will not be so drained. Because think about it. Perhaps, do you want to be a drain, or do you want to be the faucet? And when you think about this, think about that question. You want to think that even though if I'm doing things that are that feels good, that tends to my dopamine levels, that tends to, me getting that shot, that makes me happy. Because happy is not something that we should be striving for. Happiness is not the answer. A lot of us are mistaken by happiness. A crack fiend can take a hit on a pipe and be happy. A person who is addicted to sex, and sleeping around, that person can be feeling happy. A murderer probably can even experience happiness by killing people. Happiness is not something that we should be striving for. It's like just passion isn't always something that we should be striving for. It's, more sustainable things that you will actually experience is the fulfillment, is the joy, the prosperity. Those things that you will not experience when you are geared towards negative actions, towards meaningless actions, towards actions that serves no great purpose for the greater good and for yourself. So when you think about that, then you go back to, even though these things make me happy, is it draining me? Am I gaining more energy? Am I feeling a sense of fulfillment? Or am I still feeling, if I'm really, really honest with myself, am I still feeling empty inside? Do I feel spiritual? Do I feel my spirit within me awakened? Does something inside me feel dead? And do I feel drained? Or do I feel life? Do I feel like a faucet? Do I feel overflowing? Do I feel like a blessing? Am I a blessing to others? Am I a blessing in general? If you're not a blessing, you're not that faucet, you're not that running faucet, you're not plentiful, you're not fruitful. Do you feel fruitful when you are going out doing these counterproductive and meaningless things, even though they make you feel happy? But do you feel like a faucet? Do you feel like a running faucet? Do you feel the spiritual flow? Do you feel that? And if the answer, I don't know, I'm going to answer it for you. I know you don't feel it. And so if you don't feel it, you're not doing that to yourself. And if you're not doing that to yourself, you're damn sure aren't doing it for others. So the people that you claim that you love and everything, you're more of a liability. You're more of a leech. You are more of a distraction. You are the distraction because you are being distracted. Because you are being distracted from even acknowledging and recognizing your true self. So if you are doing that to your own self, then you are doing it to others. You are keeping others from reaching themselves as experiencing and acknowledging their true selves as well. Also, so think about that. Are you a drainage or are you a faucet? Are you a blessing? Or do you go out trying to seek for blessings without even being the blessing? You're going out seeking these things, trying to tend to your unfulfilled needs. These are things that I know a lot of people don't acknowledge and a lot of people don't think about. But they are worth the thought. They are worth the energy. They are worth the time. They are worth the energy. I just said that. They are worth all of that. They are worth the commitment, the acknowledgement. These things in our lives. When we start asking that, am I a drainage or am I a faucet? Am I a blessing? If we're going to, those questions is going to start making us think different and do different and become different when you keep asking yourself this. Am I this? And if the answer is no, how can I become this? And you don't have to have the answer as of yet. Just keep asking that question. That's the problem with a lot of us. We are afraid to ask questions because we are expecting ourselves to have the answer. We don't have to have the answers. We have to be asking the right questions. We have to know and understand that asking the right questions can sometimes be more powerful than actually having the right answers. I don't know how, I don't know why. I would do research on that. I would look into that, but I just know that asking the right questions is more powerful than having the right answers. Because now we're thinking, now we're becoming critical thinkers. We're thinking outside the box. Now we are searching. We are becoming curious because we're not going to have all the answers anyway. But we can ask as many infinite questions as possible. And then start asking the right questions. And then it just goes into our subconscious and then our spirit and then our eternal being, who you are, was just going to start moving into the light, into that light, and understanding more and more and more. And you're just going to start growing. So that it was just something that was on my mind when I was writing. I do my daily writing exercise every morning at 3 a.m. and it just helps me to just go deep and think deep. That's a writing exercise that I would recommend you all to do. The first thing that you wake up in the morning, before you do anything, don't reach for your phone. Put your phone in the bathroom when you go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, put your phone in the bathroom. and then go to sleep. Maybe if your phone is if you have an alarm clock, if your phone has an alarm, this will help you to not put it on snooze. Put it in your bathroom. Leave your bathroom door open. If your bathroom is in your room or wherever, if your bathroom is not in your room and your phone is not where you can probably hear it, put it far out in your room, somewhere where you cannot reach. Put it beyond reaching distance, somewhere where you cannot reach, and somewhere where you have to actually get up, walk, and go reach for your phone and turn the alarm clock off. Do that, and then you'll see that you won't be hitting snooze anymore. But there's something else I want you to do. I want you to have your journal or your notebook, on the side of your bed. Or you can have it by your phone. So that could be either way, whichever one. Have the notebook and the pen by your phone, or have it by your bed. But the problem is, not the problem, but what I'm saying is that when you wake up, you reach for that notebook and you reach for that pen to turn your alarm clock off. Don't think. I don't want you to think when you wake up. I want you to do less thinking. Don't think about anything. You see the notebook, you see the pen, grab it. Just grab it. Don't think about why you're doing it. Grab it, turn the alarm clock off. Just write. Just write. Just write. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it makes any sense. We don't even want it to make sense. We don't want what you're writing to make sense. We're not trying to make sense out of what you're doing right now, because it's already for a great purpose. It's already a more strategic goal and a more effective and productive task that you are already doing. It is more beneficial. You got to think about trade-offs. You got to think about cost-beneficial analysis. Your actions, is what I'm doing more beneficial than the alternative? Alternative and options. There's no such thing as solutions. So you got to think about better options, better alternatives. How can I give myself better options, better alternatives in my life? Not solutions, options, alternatives, more beneficial options, more beneficial alternatives. Those are things that are connections to greater systems, more sustainable, infinite, productive systems, fruitful systems in our life. These systems that can be so sustainable, and it can just be like a drain, like a faucet for us to, or a factory for us to just keep accumulating wealth in our lives. So it will start with you waking up. The first task of what you do, you write. Writing is probably the most complimentary, most productive, spiritual, profitable, transferable skill that you can, and I say skill, activity, task that you can do and that you can master. So you're already gonna be practicing when you first wake up, and then you first wake up and then you just write. Doesn't matter if it doesn't make any sense. Write whatever the hell you want to write. Write whatever's on your mind. Think about how you feel. Think about what your emotions are. Consider what's on your mind. And I don't want to use the word think, because I think that's going to be too much for you to even do, depending on what time you wake up. And you can be too groggy, and then you can be thinking too much, and you can be like, oh my God, I'm thinking too much. I don't want to think about this anymore. You can go back, and then you end up going back to sleep. The whole purpose is for you to use as less energy as possible when you're doing this. Less thoughts. So you're just writing. Mindful, not, just not, just writing. And then you just start to see, the more you do this, and then even at the first time when you start writing, when you start to write, you just start to just even gain more clarity, and you just start to become a bit more fulfilled slowly. You might be depressed, or you might be you might be dealing with suicidal thoughts, or you might be going through something in your life. And then so what we're doing, we could be transferring, distributing everything from within us to on paper. And then we do this in time. We can have a whole catalog of self-documentation And then you can look into that writings, and then you could probably dig out something that's really meaningful and purposeful for you to benefit off of. And then you could be like, I never would have thought of that if I didn't write this. And you can look back at your journey of where you was feeling before and how your writing was until to now, to the current day. Then you keep doing it. Don't do this for the rest of your life. You know that if you do this for the rest of your life, that how many ideas and thoughts and just emotions and just everything that you, and philosophies and everything that was within you that you put on paper. And then before you go to bed, ask yourself the right questions. Ask yourself these questions. How can I do this? How can I overcome that? What about, you ask yourself stuff that you're trying to figure out in your life and you're trying to overcome. Ask yourself, how can I do this? And then go to bed. Put in your subconscious, sleep on it. Let your subconscious work. Let your mind work while you're asleep. And then you wake up and then boom, you're right. Keep doing that. Then watch your whole life unfold before you. And that's all I have for right now. We'll dig deeper into this topic, into this idea, into this thought thing that I'm doing. Whatever you're facing, you will overcome it. You're bigger than whatever you're facing. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. It just depends on you eliminating the distractions, asking the right questions, doing the right things, becoming more wiser, searching for wisdom, and searching for you literally understanding you, discovering you and exploring you, and going even deeper and 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 deeper into doing that for the rest of your life. And then you're just going to start to just see things just unfold. And then you're going to experience, and then you're going to understand and recognize that who you actually are is an infinite being, that there is no measure to the amount of resources and prosperity and wealth that you can accumulate in your life. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon. Take care.